guys, I was just coming out here to start the weed whacker, and I thought I'd share some things with you guys. One of the most epic things you can do with weeds. Let's talk about free fertilizer for your garden. A lot of people pay a lot of money for fertilizer. Now, the one thing about a homestead life is a lot of the things that you can do when you're producing your own food and when you have a good amount of land is you can make a lot of your own fertilizer. Here's some way to do it. To get nitrogen, all I have to do is weed whack and put that fertilizer into water and let it stew for a few days. There's your first free fertilizer. Now, I don't just have to put weeds in there. I can add fish carcasses, which have bones. So there you go. There's some more fertilizer. So if you're eating, even if you're not running a homestead, if you eat fish, get it with the bones and everything. Throw that fish that fish head and all that stuff in your fertilizer. Now, another thing you can do, cicadas, must be some other cicada time for some other kind of cicada that we don't know anything about. So as I get prepared to weed whack some pretty nasty weeds, this is what I'm thinking about for you guys, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna whack these weeds down and then I'm gonna rake them up and put them in water. Now, I already have over there, you can see some totes. One of the other things I do is I save the pool water from my ducks. Now, that is a great fertilizer because it has potassium. It has phosphorus and nitrogen in it. So it has all three things right there ready to go. A lot of times I take that pool water and then I put it straight on the garden and then I water my garden. And that's a great way to get free fertilizer. Another way, you know, you can bubble it up and do all of those things. Really, if you let it sit for a good long time, it's gonna all come together and it's gonna smell rancid. The more rancid it smells, the better it actually is for your garden. So, so plug your nose while you're using it. And if it's really heavy, go ahead and make sure that you water it in really well when you use it. So those are just some of the ways that you can get free fertilizer. Now, you can also get free fertilizer from your chickens, the manure that they make, from your cattle, from your goats. The nice thing about goats and rabbits and sheep is their fertilizer is ready to go. It's not hot fertilizer, what they call hot fertilizer. So it's ready to go into your garden right away. So if you have animals, you have free fertilizer. You can also use dogs' manure for fertilizer. That is a-okay. If you have some dog food that your dog doesn't like, you can use that. All your food scraps, put them in a pile, compost them down. During the fall, if you're not going to use a bed for a whole 6 months, you can put that food scraps in your garden and let it break down. It's not nutrient dense until it's broken down and ready to go, or you can just make a nice compost pile. Free food is really easy to come by in the garden. One of the things that we also do on the homestead is we raise our own chickens, and so we also make chicken broth. And when we make the chicken broth, if we pressure those bones and make good bone broth, those bones get pretty soft, and those actually can go in either your compost here, your compost, and there you go, you got some free bone meal, which is really important for a lot of crops. So making free fertilizer is super easy, and all you have to do is whack your weeds and put them in water, immerse them in water, put a cover over them, let that get nice and hot, and within a week you're going to have some mild fertilizer. I'll show you what I do. This is my compost tea right here. And I use this, or I use my duck water straight from my duck pond. And you can see that there's stuff sticking on the sides of this because the water has come down quite a bit. Now, what you do is you just add more water to that. And I got a hose nozzle onto that. I fill up a bucket. This is compost tea right here. And then I just add that to my garden. And if it's really heavy compost tea and you have something that can't handle a lot of nitrogen, you go ahead and you add some water to that. Now this garden has just been watered, so I'm not worried about that. But that's how you do it, guys. So just if you have a tote or a big container, an old bathtub, pails with lids, all of that stuff, just pack those weeds in there, pack some bones in there, kitchen scraps, bananas, all of that stuff. Put it in there and let it soak, and you will have free compost ready to go whenever you need it, and you won't have to buy compost again. I do have old bags from before I knew this stuff in my garden area space inside the shop, but I don't use it. I always go, it's so easy to just go over to that compost tea bin and just grab that. Now, does that replace putting actual compost on your garden? That's I don't know. I still make regular compost, and I think it's just because that adds a lot of soil. You take away a lot of soil when you're taking out plants and stuff like that. So the more organic matter, especially here in the South where we have clay for soil, more organic matter. Leaves are also a really good thing to put in your garden because they break down so fine, and they make your soil a lot more loomy, and so that makes really good soil. Leaves are also really great for free starting soil. If you have a whole thing of leaves, I'll show you what I do for my compost real quick. Now, I'm kind of a believer in compost everything. I don't know how close I'll be able to get to my compost right now because I have sprinklers running. My duck water. So this is my compost. What I have in here is I have paper. I have a pot of something that I started. There's coffee grounds in there. There's eggshells in there. There's sweet potato peelings in there. And you can see here, this is just full of the same. There is grass in there. All my pots that, like, if I get a pot from from somewhere, and it's a seasonal plant and that stuff dies, I put the soil and everything in there, and that will recharge the soil. That's how you recharge soil, by the way. We put wood chips down in our chicken run, and that will turn to compost. One of the things that we're going to do with our chickens later is that we're going to put them in a smaller space and get all these wood chips. And these wood chips break down over time, especially when they have manure, water on it, all of that good stuff. They break down, and then that makes fantastic compost too. So you're getting all of the things that you need for your garden. Now, the only time you really need to amend, if you're adding the right stuff, now you want to do greens, hots and colds. So you want to put greens like the coffee grounds are kind of neutral. The eggs are kind of neutral. So what I need to put in this one right here, it's got lots of browns in it. There's also a vacuum. My stuff from my vacuum cleaner, so there's a lot of dog hair, so that's got calcium in it. Tomatoes, all good kinds of good stuff. Now I need to put some more greens in there. So any kind of meaty stuff I give to the animals. They break that down, and then that goes in the compost. So now I don't put anything in my compost that is has disease on it. I don't do that. But everything else goes in the compost. Compost tea, I don't worry about it. So fish and I mean, you buy fish emulsion. That's just a fish with some oil. So if you put it in your compost tea, you don't have to buy fish emulsion. You can water that down for your starts. So free fertilizer is everywhere if you look for it. So look for your free fertilizer here on the land. And we'll see you guys next time here on Hedgehog's Homestead. God bless. Bye.